I'm Sari Kimbell, and I've done just about everything in the food industry. I have helped hundreds of packaged food business entrepreneurs, and now I want to help you make your delicious dream a reality. Whether you want to be successful at farmers markets, online, or wholesale onto store shelves, food business success is your secret ingredient. I will show you how to avoid an expensive hobby and instead run a profitable food business. Now let's jump in. Hello, welcome back to the podcast. This is going to be a fun episode. I really hope this is one that will be really inspiring to you, that will maybe shake something loose within you and help you take that next step, help you transform, that there's a little bit of a shift after this one. That's my hope. And maybe you'll just have a good story to listen to as well. That's okay too. So today I want to tell you about the story behind my tattoo. So a couple of episodes, which is so funny because I told a couple of you in Food Business Success that I got this tattoo and they were like, oh, the one you mentioned in your podcast. So I can't even remember which episode it was, but it was about like how we get things done and how we achieve our goals. And so I brought up this goal of wanting to get a tattoo. Now, I've been wanting to get a tattoo for probably 5-6 years now. But I'm one of those people that I'm like, but it's going to be on my body forever. So I need it to be like the perfect thing, right? And that we kind of get stuck there, right? It's like, I know I want one, but then we're like, it has to be the perfect thing. And in any case, I had realized what I wanted the thing to be in October. Of October of last year. So I realized like, oh, now we got to get serious, right? Now I am like, I know what I want. So now I actually want this tattoo. And it wasn't easy. I have to say, for one, just as like a practical thing, and this goes for anybody wanting to achieve a goal, right? If you want to create a packaged food business, you want to grow it, you want to get into manufacturing, you want to go into retail, whatever it is, Amazon, you got to break it down into small, manageable, bite-sized, doable things. And so there was that like, I want to get a tattoo. Well, it's like this super big thing. So I had to do that work for even this, right? Like, okay, that means I need to do some research and, find some tattoo artists in my area that I might connect with and I like their work. And I wanted a tattoo in this very specific style called watercolor tattoo. And so I needed to find people who knew how to do that, right? And were talented in that area. And I kept coming against obstacles like the person that I found. I was like, oh my gosh, I found this amazing woman. She's not that far away from me, like 30 minutes or so. But like her books were closed, right? And she like wasn't taking any new customers, any new clients. And then so I was like, well, let me just see, are there other people? So I kept like reaching out. And actually, it's so funny. Talk about like, I think we look back at these things sometimes and we're like, oh, all right, divine intervention, whatever you want to call it, right? God, the universe, like when you put a goal out there and then you just start working towards it, I really do think that the universe, God, shows up for you and will meet you halfway. When you start putting in the effort, when you start showing up, when you start making a plan and actually taking action, right? It's out of your head. It's not just like, oh, that would be nice if, but you're like, no, I'm actually doing the work. I'm making the calls. I'm sending the emails, right? I'm doing the research. I'm trying to find that picture, the vision, define that for me. So I found this woman 30 minutes or so away. Her books aren't open. I'm like, oh, okay, I need to have a backup and let's look at some other people. So I found this studio that was pretty close to me that I was like, oh, it seems like a cool studio, maybe. And I reached out to them, and I was kind of getting like the experience wasn't really what I wanted, but I was also feeling frustrated. Like, I just want to get this done. And so I ended up talking with this guy, Rocky. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get a tattoo by a guy named Rocky. And we were going back and forth, and I was like, but I kept trying to ask questions about the process because the experience is really important to me as well. There's the having the thing, like the tattoo as the final goal. And, please just insert your packaged food business at the end of all of this, right? It's a metaphor. It's an example that I think works with any goal. So it's important to me. Experience is really important to me. And so I just was like, I don't know. I'm not really having like a great experience with this guy, Rocky, right? He's texting me, and I'm saying like, what is the process? Like, how do you help me with the drawing? Like, I don't have a finished drawing. I just have some ideas. And he was like, oh yeah, we'll just do it. It was like I wasn't getting anything that I really needed to feel like, oh, this is going to be something really special, or I feel like I'm in really good hands. And you kind of want a good story, right? If you're going to get a tattoo, I mean, you want the story of the meaning behind the tattoo, but you also kind of want a cool experience as part of it. At least I do. That's just something I appreciate and value. I actually had an appointment scheduled with Rocky for a Saturday. Well, it was coming up, and it was maybe like Thursday. And I was like, I don't know about this, Rocky. Like, I think what I'll do is I'll just go and like, I'll see what he has to say and get a feeling for him. And if I'm just not feeling it, I'm committed. Like, I will walk out, right? Or I will just say, thank you very much. And like, no, not for me. So I started thinking about like, okay, but what do I really want? Like, I really want this woman who I was like, she's a badass, she's like, this is her specialty, is watercolor tattoos. So I DM her. She says like on her Instagram, no DMs. And I DM her, and I was just like, tried to explain, who I was a little bit, and that I'm really like, I have this very certain style that I want, and you do this. And I know you say no DMs, but could we make this happen? And by the way, can you let me know before Saturday, before my appointment with Rocky? And I thought in my brain, I'm like, what would this be worth it? What would this be worth to me to get this done by her, have the experience that I want, all of it? And I was like, $1,000. That's how much I'd be willing to pay for all of it, right? The whole package. And it's more than I would normally pay for, like, I mean, I'm not a tattoo expert by any means. I don't have tattoos. So I knew this was more than like what somebody would normally charge me for it. So I just said, I'll give you $1,000. Like, will you do this for me? And by the way, let me know before my appointment. And she never DM'd me back. And I even sent her a follow-up. I was just like, Friday night, like, okay, last call. And nothing. I was like, okay. So Saturday morning, I wake up and I have a text from Rocky that says, I slipped and fell on the ice and I dislocated my shoulder and I can't do Saturday. I can't do today. And I was like, okay. Yeah, someone's really, the universe is conspiring in my favor yet again, right? Always. So I take a step back and I'm like, all right, let's pull back a little. What are some other options, right? Let's just get creative. If I think about the experience that I want, where else is that possible, right? It doesn't have to be the one way that I thought it would be. Like in Denver, find a place, find a woman, do these things. But like, how could I get the experience and the outcome that I want? So I was talking to a girlfriend of mine who lives in Houston, and she was like, what? I can't believe you offered her that much money. That tattoo is not going to cost that much money. And I was like, I know, but it's about the experience. She's like, well, then come to Houston and we'll find a place in Houston and you can come see me and we'll go go find you a tattoo. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting idea. Like, yeah, take that money and combine it with a friend and, an experience that way. That could be fun. And then I was like, oh, wait, I'm going to Las Vegas for the fancy food show. There's a lot of really great tattoo artists in Las Vegas, right? And so I started doing some research about like high-end, really great reputation, tattoo parlors. I don't know if that's the right word, tattoo places. And I started doing some research. So I found a couple like Miracle Mile or Miracle Shops and Forum and the Venetian. Well, it just so happens I was staying at the Palazzo. And so I was like, So I like reached out to a few of them, but I just was super busy the week before. And so here comes the rest of the tattoo story, right? It's Friday. I get in on Friday afternoon and I go to dinner. I have this amazing dinner at Bouchon. Highly recommend if you go to Las Vegas. It was amazing. And I was kind of on fire. I was like, dang, I'm in Las Vegas. I'm having a great time. This great dinner. The bartender gives me like a free glass of champagne. They upgraded my room. I was like, all right, things are going well. So I after dinner, I go and I find this tattoo place in the Venetian, and I just walk in and I start talking to somebody, and they were like, called one person over, and he's like, yeah, I don't know, that's really my thing, but let's talk to Tim. And so Tim comes over and I kind of show him my pictures that I pulled off the internet and here's what I want, here's the style and all that. So he's like, yeah, I can do that. He's like, I've been tattooing since I was 14 years old. I like can totally do that. And we really vibed. So I was like, okay. I said, can you do it tomorrow? And he said, yep, 5:00 Saturday. Come back. And I was like, all right. So that happened. I went in at 5. He drew it up freehand because it's this watercolor style. And so you don't use stencils. And I'm going to tell you what it is here next. But I will just tell you that I have never felt pain like I have felt pain getting that tattoo. It is on the inside of my wrist. I will post some photos on my Instagram as well. It's on my wrist, and it was a very sensitive spot, apparently, to get a tattoo. And because it's this watercolor style, he had to go over it with multiple colors. And he'd already done like 2 or 3 of the colors, and he was like, okay, I have the last 2 colors and now it's really gonna hurt. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. And I don't know what this is a metaphor exactly, and maybe it's just I think about all of these as a metaphor for your business and the trial and error and finding the right people and the right group and the right community and the right information, and you taking action and being willing to do hard things and kind of risky things and saying no and saying yes. I could have gotten all the way to that point and met with Tim and still been like, I don't know, maybe it's not the right thing. I mean, it wasn't exactly my vision, but it's kind of a cool story, right? So so I was willing to say yes and take that risk at that moment. There's got to be some great metaphor about just the amount of pain that I was in, and I just kept breathing through it and taking big breaths. And at one point I just remember, and it only took like 30 minutes or so, 35 minutes, but very painful. And I just remember thinking, okay, just lean into the pain. Like, this is pain, right? And in your business, you're going to have moments where you're just like, these are problems. This is pain. Like, this isn't easy. But I realized instead of trying to resist it yes, breathing helps, but like I still was kind of like, I don't want to feel pain, but I'm going to keep breathing. And I kind of just leaned into, this is pain. I am in pain. Okay. Like letting it go a little, and it actually like eased, which was really interesting. And the last 10 minutes, maybe I just, who knows, my pain sensors were overwhelmed, but I would say the last 10 minutes, I just kind of like went to a little different place and just kind of, it just was what it was. And I let go of the pain and just let it be pain. And I stopped resisting it. So tattoo is done, right? And then they put this like saran wrap kind of sticker on there now. I guess like before they would wrap it up, or I don't know what they used to do, but anyway, so you can like see it, right? But it has this kind of plastic clear wrap on it. So Tim and I part ways. And you guys will hear more about fancy food for sure, but I had invited clients of mine. I thought, well, if I'm going to fancy food, what do I want this experience to be like? What would be a really cool experience? And I was like, oh, it'd be really neat to have a couple clients there that we could walk the show together and talk about it and kind of help guide them, and just have like some people there, not just by myself or connecting with my colleagues, but really be a guide to some clients who they should really see this. They should be at fancy food to see what's possible for them and their business. So I invited a number of clients who I thought, yes, they would be good fits for this. And then 11 of them came. So I didn't expect that many, and it was so amazing. And there'll be more to come on that. But we were sitting around on Monday of fancy food before I headed back to Colorado. We were doing a working session, and we were all sitting in a group in in a circle on the floor. We just had like some great sharing out and people talking about what they got out of the show. And then I said, I want to share with you what this tattoo means, because I think it's really important for you to hear this from my experience, because you guys all look to me and you're thinking like, she's got it all together, right? She's so on top of it. And it's really easy to compare yourself when you walk into the room at a fancy food, right? We talk through that a lot about like the compare and despair, and like, yeah, you're one of many, many hot sauces, of course. Like there's way more hot sauces than even what's in this room, right? In this convention center. And so you can use that against yourself, or you can use it for yourself. And in any case, I said, I want you guys to really hear the meaning behind this tattoo. I feel like it's important to share it. And I said, so I'm sure I'll do a podcast about this, but you guys will get the first the first crack at it, because I realized that I'm going to have a story, right? I'm going to have to be able to, like, people are going to be like, oh, what is that? What does it mean? Tell me about it. And I'm like, oh, I need to be able to like have a pitch about this that I can, my 30-second, here's why I have this tattoo. And there's kind of the 30-second version, and then there's probably the 3-minute version, which I'm going to share with you the 3-minute version, because the 3-minute version is way more interesting and helpful, I think. The meaning behind the tattoo. You guys, we all carry around limiting beliefs all the time, right? Where they come from, I don't know exactly. Nature, nurture, your personality, just what you're born with. I'm not exactly sure, but we all carry from childhood all of these beliefs that we argue for all the time, right? And I realized that I wanted to really tear down. I wanted like once and for all to say goodbye, to let those limiting beliefs go. And I had a session, it's called RTT, and it's rapid transformational therapy. And it's a version of hypnosis where they take you it's just a very relaxed state. I've never been hypnotized before this, so I don't know exactly whether it was totally true hypnosis or not. There was no like clucking like a chicken or anything like that. So she takes me back to childhood, and you kind of regress and do these, you talk about these 3 scenes in your childhood. And then there's some kind of healing work that you do. And after that, and so without her prompting me, this wasn't guided, but it was a very intense, very deep session. I felt a lot of clearing. I felt a lot of healing. Yeah, I guess just a clearing of it. And my purpose in it was like, I never want to entertain these things again. Like, these thoughts are the things that get in my way every time, right? Things are going amazing. And then there's one thing that happens, and all of a sudden it's, I'm not good enough. Who am I? Who do I think I am? I'm not worthy. People, are judging me, all of these things. And I am like the biggest a-hole to myself, right? And just really that self-loathing that comes from those thoughts. And so I just was very clear that the purpose of this session was to clear those out once and for all. And so we were going through her process, and I had this vision, and it was such a clear vision, where it was in my chest, and I just saw this like deep, dank, dark cave. And it was gross. It was just dripping, dark and gross and icky. I mean, it's just like, it was a nasty, nasty place. And then I had this vision of like, it was cold and gross. So this vision of me, and I come in, and I have like a flamethrower, giant, machine gun like thing that I go into this cave, and I'm just like, I was like Rambo style. I mean, I was just like, like with this flamethrower, and just like burning it all down, burning all of those thoughts, burning all of those limiting beliefs, all of that grossness, all of that stuff that I've let layer on over the years. And I just burned it all down. And I was left with this clean, bright cave that was like a place you'd want to be in, right? And it was this new space. And in the middle of it was this ember. And it was like barely like, in like a coal or something, like in a fire, you can like, it's like pretty dark on the outside still, but like you can tell that there's some orange and some yellow in there. And like it could start a fire if you put paper on it, right? And so it wasn't out, but it wasn't lit by any means. So, and that's like in the center of my chest. And I go over and I light that flame, that ember. And there's this flame there now. It's small. It's not a huge flame. And I'm looking around, and it's this clear, empty, clean, bright space. And I just had this realization that I need to light this fire every day. I need to stoke it. I need to give life to it. I need to nurture it, right? I need to give it fuel that serves the flame, not the overgrowth. And so I committed then. It was such a powerful image. I mean, this vision was like unlike anything. I mean, I'm closing my eyes now, recounting it for you guys, and it's a little bit emotional, but it's so clear to me. And I just said, I committed in that moment, like I have cleaned out all of the crappy thoughts, all of the crappy things, the limitations, the beliefs that I have argued for myself. I've cleaned them out, and I am stepping forward anew, and I'm not ever going to let it happen again, right? I'm never going to let it get that dirty, that gross. like layer upon layer upon layer. So there was definitely this healing, this clearing, this like, whoa, right? Like I'm stepping out fresh and clear and new. And now my only job is how do I nurture that? And so every morning I do a practice where I'm really envisioning lighting that fire and really stoking it, right? And the flame just really getting bigger. And when I can step into my flame and be who I am, that is when I can serve the world. That's when I can have more impact on the world. And I want that for you, right? And you guys, maybe I don't know, it'd be interesting. I hear actually people tell me like, oh my gosh, there's been a change in you, Sari. Like I can tell from your podcasts or your videos or the way you're showing up on social media that there's been a change. And there was a huge shift for me. And so I knew in that moment, I was like, I'm getting a tattoo of a flame. I know exactly what I'm going to get. And so that's since October, I've had that vision of this flame, right? And then you've just heard about the story of how I actually got it, right? Because there's the vision, there's, you get clear and you're like, yes, this is what I want. This is who I am. I'm committed. And then there's the goal and then all the action that needs to happen in between there. I guess what I want you to take away two pieces from this. First of all, you guys, we all do it. We're human, right? Clearly I do, and I know you do. We argue for our own limitations all the time. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. People won't like me. Who will they think I am? People will reject me, right? There's like all of these beliefs that they're so deep within us. They're in that deep, dark cave. Who are you to start a business? Who are you to try to be bigger? Who are you not to? We need you. We need you growing and developing and evolving just for a better world. And we need your delicious products. We need your delicious food. Your brain is just trying to keep you safe, and that's okay. But if you're ever really going to create something amazing, step into your purpose, into having more impact in the world, at some point, you're going to have to look at those beliefs and say, enough. I love you. I know you were trying to keep me safe, but that's not serving us anymore. It's not serving me to think that way about myself and about others, right? And so I want to just encourage you to look at what your limiting belief is, and what if you just said thank you, but no thank you. I'm going to set you down for a little bit. I'm going to just put you in the corner, you can hang out, but you're not driving, right? You're not taking the wheel. And what if instead you actually lit your fire of who you are, your most authentic you, and you stepped into being you, all of it, all the good, all the bad. We want all of it. So what if you actually stoked the fire? What if you actually stoked the belief of I am worthy, I am good enough, you belong, you are enough, you do deserve this. People who create something great, the 5% of people who create amazing businesses that they love, that serve other people, that forward their mission and their purpose, are the ones who are willing to do what 95% of people won't do. And so I'm telling you that this work of clearing out your limiting beliefs and lighting your fire of beliefs that serve you, that pump you up, that get you excited, that help you take big action, scary action, that's what you need to fuel. Okay, so I just want to recap and kind of give you the lessons from this whole tattoo story. So number one, set a goal, right? Commit, declare it publicly. You will have so much more success if you actually start telling people what your goal is. So put it out into the world. This is where we start to really believe it into existence, that we start changing our beliefs and our concept about ourselves. This is a great place to use the power of and. I can take care of my family and I can start this delicious granola company. I can have a sustainable, healthy lifestyle and start a business, right? I can be in my family business and follow through on obligations, and I can start my salsa business. I have a client who is a doctor. He works like 80 hours a week. So he can be a doctor and a great doctor and start his bar business, right? Both are possible, and he is doing both. So if if you have any excuses about time, just look to him as an example of somebody who's doing both. But this is where we can really start playing and opening up our self-concept to what is possible. If you're willing to play with it and not get stuck in the or the buts and your self-belief, all those limiting beliefs, this is where you can really start playing with possibility. And then know that things will not necessarily go the way that you planned them to, right? You're going to start taking action, you're going to make a plan, and then you're going to be open and flexible and remember what the end goal is, not necessarily how you're going to achieve it, right? It's the allowing the universe, God, to meet you halfway. When you start taking action, allow things to unfold. Just the fact that you've even found this podcast is one of those things, right? That comes to you like, wow, I found this, or you found other resources that are helping you in your journey. And then remember that life is pain. There is going to be pain. There is just no avoiding it. So if we just know that there will be pain, that there will be heartbreak, there will be disappointment, there will be shame and frustration and anger, and it's going to happen whether you go after your goal, your big dream or not, right? And so you can try to keep your life small to avoid those pains, but they're going to happen either way. So wouldn't you rather go after a big goal and just see what's possible for yourself and be open and willing to feel that pain and breathe through it like I did on that table, that chair I was sitting in getting my tattoo, right? Lean into it. That said, there are ways to help sort of mitigate, lessen some of the pain of doing it all alone. Food business success is a community. It is a place where people come together and we support each other and we help light your fire. We help it keep it going strong. You get answers to your questions, of course. But I think what has been more impactful for me has been this group community that has come out of Food Business Success, this group coaching experience. And then I saw it in action, what is possible when 12 of us get together in person. And that was phenomenal. It was amazing. And something I'll definitely talk more about around community. But if you need help to nurture your flame, and if you want expertise and you want support and you want accountability, Food Business Success is where it's at. We all need help, right? We all need people to support us and be in our corner. And I would love to help you in your journey. If you are committed, to turning the fire on. So, you ready? Let's go. Until next time, have an amazing week. Are you ready to start that delicious idea that you make in your home kitchen or grow your existing packaged food business and take it to the next level? The most successful food business entrepreneurs have support, guidance, focus, and accountability to help them make it happen quickly without wasting time or money. Plus, I think starting your packaged food business should actually be fun. Food business success is your secret ingredient to creating your food business dream. please don't go this alone. Check out the private free Food Business Success Facebook group to connect with other foodpreneurs, get your questions answered quickly, share your wins, and receive special training and tools I only share inside the private community. Just search for Food Business Success on Facebook or get the link in the show notes. Curious about how Food Business Success can help you? Head over to foodbizsuccess.com and fill out the application to see if you're a great fit for the program. Together, let's make your food business dream a reality.